Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am bringing you my single best game in the Alaska. Actually, this is kind of a lie. I tie a damage record of mine, and if you're on Discord, then T-Boy or whatever, you've probably already seen it. Two games with basically the exact same damage. So this, I liked this one better. The other one was a little bit more boring. Not to say that this one is anything super duper special. It's kind of cheeky because, you know, legendary tier is it's very passive, and so starting out, the reason why I'm sitting here is I'm using refill station and I get the 10% extra range. I'm running beyond range. I have way more than enough range right here, but I'm trying to see if I can get a broadside shot, because you know a lot of people like to go in front of this island where my aim is at and then cut around towards A. I'm just trying to hold out for probably 10 or 15 more seconds. And every time I spawn here, I always wait here because I'm just like, okay, I might be able to get one or two salvos of someone over here, and then by the time you see me looking over there, I'm like, should I just go ahead and go? I make the decision to go ahead and go. Nothing popping up there. Another thing you'll notice is the no destroyers, which honestly, it's kind of a damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you get a destroyer in a legendary match, it can be extremely one-sided, and if you don't, it can be extremely passive. Have the HE loaded, and honestly, guys, yeah, the HE is actually kind of broken for the ship. When you're rocking I could have a 15-second flat reload if I had refill station maxed out, but I don't. So with Scott, you can rock a 30% chance of fire with a 15.5-second reload, compared to a 12-second reload of, say, Mogami with 25% chance of fire. It's actually pretty good. Alaska, and you get the extra pin because you are slinging 305mm guns. The HE is kind of disgusting. Not to say that I play, well, the AP is disgusting there, as you see the Citadel, the Amagi. I definitely don't play Alaska to spam HE. That's honestly the last thing I want to do. I would rather finish a game with 10 Citadels and, you know, 200,000 damage, a lot of accurate strikes and all that kind of stuff, than, you know, finish a game with a Witherer and an Alaska. It just doesn't, I don't know. If I want to spam HE, I'll go play a ship that spams HE. As you can see, the AP is doing a pretty good work there. We switched to the HE because I figured this Curfirst would turn out. And obviously just trying to stick a fire since he doesn't have one. But something I'll say, especially with the legendary tiers, since it is so passive, the HE for Alaska does a really good job of kind of staying at range. Most times, obviously, do I want to stick my nose in somewhere? Yes, but do I want to be the first one up to bat versus two Curfirst and God knows what else is out there? Not really. So while my teammate is sitting there broadside taking all the damage, I am trying to get all my guns firing, do as much damage as possible, because I know when he dies, the target is probably going to become me. So solo, this is something that a lot of people have to understand, especially if you're playing this solo. And not to say that it's a selfish thing to do, but if, for the most part, your teammates are going to be dead weight, basically you have a certain amount of time to milk their presence and not bait them, but obviously, you know, you're for the most part, you're playing the game as if, okay, I have to assume this guy has no idea what he's doing and he's going to die. Rarely you have those games where people know what they're doing and it's great. And not to say that I'm better than anybody, because we've all been here. I was absolute garbage at this game at one point. I got my advent calendar back today, and it said I had played for 17 months. Let me know in the comments how long you guys have been playing. But just saying, for the most part, it's like, all right, how long can I play like the way I'm playing while everyone else is focused at the bad targets? You see it all the time with cruiser players that just sail out in the middle of the open at the beginning of the game. It's like, all right, I know that for a fact I have at least 20 seconds to pull something or shoot something or whatever, and I can almost guarantee I'm not going to be targeted because there is an idiot giving a much better target. So that's what I kind of mean here. And where the reason why I'm in the position that I want to be is, one, obviously, as soon as I wanted to push with Kerr first, I was like, you know what, I'm in a pretty good spot for this Richelieu here. I have all my guns firing, I'm not spotted. While I can take the time to, I'm going to try and melt this guy. I didn't want to shoot HE at him twice, but again, we hit a double fire. I know he didn't have damage con. I had HE loaded for the second shot. Probably should have had AP, but I made the most of it. We aimed for the back of his ship to land the fire. So, you know, getting a triple fire on 2 HE salvos, instead of maybe switching to AP and getting something, you know, we'll take it. We'll have to minimize our kind of mistakes here. Switching to the AP for the everyone's favorite IGN 50,000 damage free card here, the Azuma. This Azuma actually gets pretty lucky here. You see his propulsion kind of scoots him up just a little bit. If I would have aimed that maybe, you know, a centimeter to the right, that could have been disgusting. We are finally getting into the place that I wanted to be this entire game. I realized the first half was kind of like, oh, he's shooting HE kind of in the back, you know, with an Alaska. Yes, I was. Alaska is a very tanky ship, but while I had 2 battleships doing what they need to be doing, taking all the damage against, sailing broadside against Kerr first, I wanted to get all my guns going and use the HE on those big targets. And the biggest thing for HE, honestly, is HE really wouldn't be that efficient of a choice if the majority of the player base at the higher tier knew how to manage their damage cons. But when you see a Kerr first or any sort of, you know, a Yamato, any battleship that burns one fire, shooting HE the next salvo, unless they are just flat broadside, super close, shooting HE the next salvo is never a bad option. I mean, the amount of damage and the amount of destruction you can do setting up like a permafire, 2 permafires, it's just, keep HE loaded sometimes, because people are going to make that bad decision, and the best play for you, if they're still bow on, is to be shooting HE, because you know they don't have damage con. So it is weird, because I didn't really think Alaska would excel that much in this kind of playstyle as well, because the AP is so insanely good. And honestly, I kind of neglected the HE, and to be honest, I think it was just a thing as, oh, this is an American cruiser shooting AP 90% of the time. That's what I would prefer to do for sure, but every game is different, and if you've played Legendary Tier, if you've played Tier 7, there's a lot of times where it can become just an absolute staring contest between spawns, having Yamatos, you know, spawn to spawn. So you can shoot AP, yes, you can get lucky, especially when their superstructure isn't saturated. You can hit bow on targets for battleships, you know, sometimes, you know, 5, 6, 7, even 10, 11K. But, you know, when you're reloading 15.5 seconds with HE, and people are so bad at using their damage cons, you know, sticking a fire, making them burn it, and then sticking on 2 permas with an Alaska can seriously take 2 salvos. And since you have 305mm guns, I don't really know your pin. I want to say the pin is, I want to say you can pin Yamato deck. I don't know the specific numbers. I apologize. However, you have some pretty big caliber guns with a 15.5 second reload. It makes Amalfi kind of stupid in my Well, every cruiser does that, never mind. Kind of a little Amalfi roast. If I'm gonna get back to the game real quick, actually, I kind of forgot to mention that if you guys had realized when we were kind of pulling into the spot where we were going, the Azuma got a die hard on our destroyer, and if you've also realized, I think we were ahead. I think 6-4, maybe 6-3 at one point in the game, and we are throwing. My friendly Wichita on my team has not a lot of health, like not too much health at all. I'm in Alaska. At that point in time, I was like, okay, a curve first isn't terrible. Two of them, on the other hand, is a lot of damage to dish out, and I don't know if I can do it unless they're giving broadside. This curve first elects to go broadside. Wichita is keeping a nice fire set on this guy, and that's going to come in really, really, really handy. I don't know why this curve first was showing me broadside. I assume he was saying, oh, it's just in Alaska, I'll have to kill this guy first. But at this range, at that flat of a broadside, Alaska punches like an absolute battleship. This thing is scary. Since it's American, you have almost 10k Citadel damage. You have the increased pin angles. If you're showing broadside in a battleship at that kind of range, you can expect to at least take 20,000 damage almost every time. So instead of being like, it's just a broadside to a cruiser, Alaska punches way above its cruiser title. I would like to compare it to honestly some of the 380s in the game. It's nuts. Load the HE here. We know that we could get some cheeky damage with AP, maybe 1 or 2 salvos, but I know the GK does not have a damage con, so the fastest way to kill this guy is going to have to be HE. I also go for the front fire spot as well. I aim lower, 30% chance of fire, get the double fire. This guy is almost dead. Tweaking over 260,000. I think it was right about here I realized, oh crap, this game's actually really close. Wichita's going to go down. Cleveland is probably using EOP. He just cleaned up the Wichita. That Cleveland actually has captured both bases over there, so we did not end up killing that guy. This game would have been over in a heartbeat, but the Cleveland stayed alive. He's now capturing B. They're about to have a points advantage if they capture all 3 of these. I was like, wow, this is actually pretty close, because about halfway through this game, I was like, wow, their 2 GKs are retrading. We are melting this Richelieu. This is a GG. I mean, this is basically over. But the Cleveland stayed in the game, got the cap, the far A cap. Now he's getting the B cap, killed the Wichita. It's like, oh my god. This kind of sucks. If this is a good Cleveland player, this could really hurt, because since Cleveland has 25mm plating, I cannot overmatch the Cleveland. I have to basically get lucky, and if I wanted to kill him, if he had significant amount of health, he would have to show just enough broadside for me to get the American pin angles in. But again, a Cleveland is very, very scary. If he gets all of his guns going and he has 30-40 seconds to just unleash HE on me, that could probably be it. But for now, I think the best decision that I had to do was get into B to stop their points. Either I cap this and he doesn't contest, or I force him into a spot where he doesn't have to. I'm making him have to make the play here. And I also have a radar, I have a heal, I have 29,000 health, and with 1 heal, I would say I probably have like 35,000 health or so. So I'm, at this point in time, I'm angling towards where I'm shooting at, because I'm like, okay, if he pops here, I'll be ready, should be fine. And as soon as I squeak here, I think I stop right about here. I want to get 1 shot off from this guy. I want to get that surprise shot, because if this does come down to a duel, I really want that advantage. He's not there. I get kind of suspicious, and he's over there. Okay, so this kind of hurts me right here, because you see I get the island icon to go away. I really going back, if I could see that going back, I would have pulled the trigger, because as soon as he comes around, he angles just enough, and we don't actually pin down below. We get about 8k though. squeaking over 270,000 damage. But at this point in time, the game's about to end. We have the points advantage. Cleveland is scary at this range, but he's not shredding 25,000 health with just his front guns in 10 seconds. It's not happening. Anyways, guys, that is my damage record for the Alaska. I have another game that's basically like this, but it's a lot more HE, and it was just a very passive game, so I was like, this one's a little bit better. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, let me know how y'all's Advent calories going down. I have played I started playing 17 months ago. So, yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and take it easy. Peace.